When Prince William opened a forgotten jewelry box once belonging to Princess Diana, he expected memories, not betrayal. Inside were pieces that vanished after her death, now linked to Queen Camilla. Hidden letters, fake jewels, a missing sapphire, and a chilling message written in 1997. What William uncovered left him broken and furious. Was Camilla hiding more than jewelry? This story changes everything you thought you knew about Diana's legacy. The hidden legacy came back to haunt. Prince William wasn't looking for ghosts that day. Yet, that's exactly what he found. It was early April 2023, during a quiet afternoon at Kensington Palace, when a royal archivist invited him to view a newly restored collection from his late mother, Princess Diana. Among the items was something unexpected. A jewelry box long thought to be lost in 1997. Tucked away in a locked drawer, the box had somehow reappeared without explanation. The moment William laid eyes on it, he felt the air shift. It was small, velvet-lined, and decorated with gold trim, just as he remembered from his childhood. He hadn't seen it since he was 15 years old, just days after Diana's funeral. Back then, the box was packed up by palace staff and supposedly placed in secure storage. But seeing it now, in 2023, raised an uncomfortable question. Where had it been for the last 26 years? Opening it was like ripping open a wound that had barely healed. William gently lifted the lid, and a familiar scent hit him. Diana's old perfume still clung to the lining. Inside were items that instantly took him back. A locket she wore during their trip to Saint-Tropez, a brooch he remembered pinning on her coat one chilly morning in January 1995, and a sapphire ring that looked hauntingly similar to one he thought had been passed on or stolen. But it was what he didn't find that began to eat at him. There were clear signs someone had handled the contents recently. One compartment was jammed slightly open. Another bore fresh scratches, as if it had been forced. The arrangement was off. Diana's things were always in meticulous order, but here her signature earrings were missing, and her engraved gold bracelet was swapped for a replica. Something had happened to this box, and William couldn't shake the feeling that someone inside the palace had been through it. As William sat with the open jewelry box, a sinking feeling took over. It wasn't just about memories, it was about trust. What else had been tampered with? What had been taken? And most importantly, who would dare go through the personal belongings of the people's princess without anyone noticing for over 2 decades? Shocking discoveries. The more William examined the box, the more obvious it became. This wasn't the full collection. Several key items were missing, and not just any items. These were pieces deeply tied to Diana's identity. One of the first things he noticed was the absence of the sapphire pendant she wore during the 1996 Met Gala in New York. That pendant had been in nearly every magazine cover the week after. It was bold, unforgettable, and now it was gone. Next was something far more personal. A small envelope tucked beneath the lining. William found only part of it, torn, faded, and half-folded under a mirror. Inside was a handwritten note, clearly in Diana's handwriting. Only a few words were legible. For William, when the time is right. The date in the corner read August 1997, the very month she died. The message had never reached him. It had been hidden all these years. Then came something stranger. At the bottom of the box was a bracelet, one he thought he recognized. But something didn't add up. The pattern of the diamonds was reversed. The engraving was newer. The feel was off. William checked with a royal jeweler, who confirmed his suspicions. This was a replica, likely made after 2005. But why would someone replace a real piece of Diana's jewelry with a fake? Who would benefit from that kind of switch? Finally, William noticed a brooch he had last seen in a photo of Diana at a charity gala in 1993. It was still there, but the original blue satin ribbon that ran through its gold frame was missing. In its place, a torn strip of fabric that looked like it had been hastily inserted. Whoever handled this box had not done so with care. The message was clear. Someone had taken what wasn't theirs, and they had done it from under the nose of the future king. William didn't want to believe it at first, but when he retraced the history of the jewelry's last known appearances, one name kept coming up, again and again. The deeper he looked, the more undeniable it became. The items didn't just vanish. They were likely taken, and Queen Camilla was now the center of it all. The prime suspect. Camilla had long walked a complicated path within the royal family. Ever since 2005, when she officially became Duchess of Cornwall, there were whispers about her access to Diana's things. Royal insiders said she had spent time reorganizing parts of the royal archives at Clarence House, including old trunks, documents, and, yes, even personal jewelry. Few questioned it at the time, but now William saw those actions in a very different light. Several staffers who had worked closely with Diana, some still employed at the palace, confirmed they saw Camilla holding or wearing items that looked similar to Diana's. One even mentioned spotting a sapphire necklace worn by Camilla during a private dinner in 2010, with no public record of where it came from. Another remembered a heated discussion between Camilla and a senior royal aide in 2013, reportedly over proper ownership of Diana's remaining personal effects. There were inconsistencies in Camilla's past statements. In one interview in 2016, she claimed Diana's jewelry had been preserved and passed on appropriately. But now, at least 3 pieces, including the pendant, bracelet, and brooch, were either fake, altered, or missing. That cast serious doubt on her version of events. William couldn't help but wonder, had Camilla been slowly taking Diana's legacy piece by piece, hidden behind layers of palace silence? Most chilling were the private journal entries Diana left behind, discovered only in 2019 during an unrelated renovation. In one, dated March 1997, she wrote, "They'll take it all once I'm gone. I hope the boys will remember what's theirs." At the time, it felt paranoid, but now, in light of the missing items, it read like a warning. William's mind was spinning. Was this theft? Was it revenge? Or something worse? An attempt to erase Diana's memory in the palace completely? The confrontation didn't happen right away. William took time to gather proof, speak to trusted staff, and double-check his memory. But when the moment finally came, when he looked Camilla in the eyes and demanded answers, what followed was raw, emotional, and utterly heartbreaking. The emotional breakdown. William couldn't sleep the night he made the decision. After reviewing photos, records, and speaking privately to 2 former Kensington Palace aides, he was convinced. The evidence wasn't loud, but it was undeniable. One final check sealed it. A receipt from 2011, showing that a jeweler in Mayfair had adjusted a sapphire piece on behalf of the Duchess of Cornwall. It matched the same pendant missing from Diana's box. The confrontation happened in June 2023, during a scheduled private family gathering. William asked to speak to Camilla alone in a side room. No staff, no cameras. He presented a small tray containing 3 altered items and the 1997 note fragment from Diana. For a moment, Camilla said nothing. She stared at the pendant, her eyes filled with tears. Then, in a quiet, shaking voice, she simply said, "I never meant for you to find it this way." But her explanation wasn't what William expected. According to Camilla, the box had been left unattended at Highgrove House in early 1998 during a storage transition, and she had taken it to keep it safe. She claimed she never told anyone out of fear of scandal, saying it felt like a burden she didn't ask for. The replica bracelet? A placeholder, she said, after one piece was damaged in 2004. The brooch ribbon? Removed to fit in a display case. None of it sounded convincing to William. He broke down. According to someone close to the royal household, he said, "You had no right. She was my mother." It wasn't about value. It was about violation. It was about his mother's last message, torn and delayed for over 2 decades. For the first time in years, the future King of England openly cried. Camilla, too, was seen wiping her face as she left the room. No official apology was ever made. But from that day forward, William's relationship with her would never be the same. But just when William thought he had seen it all, there was one more twist. Something even more personal than stolen heirlooms. Something hidden, not stolen. A detail no one noticed until that final quiet evening, when a secret compartment clicked open, and everything changed. Unearthed secrets in the jewelry box. It was late July 2023 when William returned to the jewelry box alone, determined to examine every inch. While lifting the inner lining, something felt loose, barely noticeable, like a shallow groove behind the velvet. With gentle pressure, a hidden panel popped open. Inside was a slim envelope pressed flat. On the front, for William and Catherine, in time. It was Diana's handwriting, unmistakable. Inside were 2 letters. The first was written in early 1997, just weeks before her trip. To Paris, Diana wrote about her hopes for William's future, her admiration for the quiet strength she saw in Catherine. Even though the couple hadn't met yet, Diana spoke of a girl with a quiet smile and fierce loyalty. She mentioned a dream she had, of a future wedding watched by millions, of William as a husband who never let duty silence love. The second letter was a bombshell. It spoke of a decision Diana had made to remove certain pieces of jewelry from the main royal inventory. She feared they would be taken or redistributed if anything happened to her. She named 3 exact items, including the sapphire pendant, the diamond bracelet, and the brooch. Diana wrote that she had hidden them for safekeeping and marked them with small dots under the lining. She ended the letter with chilling clarity. "If you find this, something went wrong. Protect what's left." With this revelation, everything William had suspected became terrifyingly real. Diana hadn't just sensed something was wrong. She had tried to protect him from it. The discovery confirmed what no one in the palace ever wanted to say out loud, that someone, even inside the family, may have worked to erase Diana's physical legacy. That her warnings weren't dramatic, they were prophetic. The final item in the compartment was a silver cufflink engraved with W&H 1991, likely meant for both William and Harry. The initials were intertwined, symbolizing unity, something long lost between the brothers. William clutched it tightly. For a moment, everything came back. The funeral, the public grief, the silent pressure to stay strong. But in this hidden space, his mother had spoken directly to him. And now, he finally heard her. But this wasn't just personal anymore. With the letters and items recovered, a storm was brewing inside the palace. William wanted answers, and this time, silence wasn't an option. The next steps were secret, serious, and could shake the very foundation of the monarchy. The palace's internal manhunt. Once the secret letters were uncovered, Prince William quietly launched a private inquiry inside the palace. This wasn't a public scandal, not yet, but it was a serious investigation. In August 2023, he instructed a trusted group of royal aides to comb through storage records dating back to 1990s. Their task: trace every movement of Diana's personal effects, and more importantly, who had access to them. Within 2 weeks, they found major red flags. Between 1998 and 2002, several of Diana's boxes, including jewelry, handwritten letters, and private photographs, were moved from Althorp to Clarence House, then later to Highgrove. There was little documentation of the transfers. A now-retired staff member recalled that during summer 2000, Camilla had requested private cataloging sessions with her aide and a royal jeweler. Those meetings were never officially logged. William's investigators brought in a private forensic team in early September 2023 to examine the jewelry box. They used dust analysis and fiber tracking to confirm one shocking detail. The box had been reopened several times between 2006 and 2011. Fingerprint swabs confirmed traces from 2 individuals. One matched an old footman from Clarence House. The other was never officially identified. But insiders say it closely aligned with someone in Camilla's former household. Tensions rose quickly. Quiet interviews were held with current staff, former security personnel, and longtime royal archivists. Conflicting stories emerged. One palace maid recalled seeing Camilla place a blue pendant inside her handbag in 2010, then act startled when caught. Another said she overheard a late-night argument between Camilla and a royal advisor in 2008, involving the words "she doesn't need to know" and "just one necklace." The implication? A long trail of concealed behavior, but palace walls can't hold secrets forever. By late 2023, whispers reached the press. A rumor here, a leak there, and soon, everything exploded. Camilla wasn't just under scrutiny inside the palace. She was now being judged by the entire world. Public reaction and media firestorm. It started with a single article in a tabloid on October 5, 2023. Missing Princess Diana heirlooms may have been found. Linked to Camilla? Within 48 hours, it spread like wildfire. Major outlets picked it up: the Daily Mail, The Guardian, and even American media like CBS and People magazine. Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube erupted with outrage. And for once, Camilla's name trended for all the wrong reasons. Fans of Princess Diana flooded social media with old clips, comparing her elegance to Camilla's reputation. One post showing Diana in 1996 wearing the now missing sapphire pendant received over 3 million views in a single day. Another video accusing Camilla of stealing the princess's soul gained nearly 500,000 likes. The court of public opinion had spoken, and it was brutal. The younger generation, especially those born after 2000, sided with William and Diana without hesitation. Protests were even organized outside Buckingham Palace and Clarence House. Though small, the message was loud: justice for Diana. A royal historian appeared on BBC Radio 4 and called it the most emotionally charged public backlash since 1997. The pressure mounted daily. Some celebrities even spoke up. Emma Thompson posted, "You don't mess with a mother's memory." Meghan Markle's friend, Janina Gavankar, cryptically commented on Instagram, "The truth always finds the light." The palace attempted damage control. A short press release stated that internal matters involving historical royal property are being reviewed, and that Her Majesty the Queen has no comment. But the silence only made it worse. Even allies of Camilla grew uncomfortable. Insiders said King Charles was devastated by the headlines and urged William to avoid making any public statements, fearing a larger family rupture. But William stayed silent, for now. Privately, William was torn apart. This wasn't just about jewelry. It was about his mother's dignity, his own values, and the future of the monarchy. Could he really stay silent? Or was it finally time to choose between loyalty and justice? William's dilemma. For weeks, William said nothing publicly. But behind the palace doors, a storm was raging. He held multiple meetings in November 2023 with senior advisors and his father, King Charles. The conversations were tense. William had the evidence, the documents, the letters from Diana. But taking action meant turning against the Queen consort, his stepmother. The emotional stakes had never been higher. Charles reportedly begged William to handle it with sensitivity. But William wasn't sure he could. Diana had warned him in 1997 in writing. Now, in 2023, he was staring at proof that her fears were justified. Sources close to William say he considered making a discreet legal move, filing a confidential claim of mishandling royal property. But lawyers warned him any court filing, even sealed, could be leaked, and that would bring chaos. Catherine, Princess of Wales, played a critical role behind the scenes. According to palace insiders, she supported William 100%, but urged caution. She reminded him of their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, and how any public war could damage the monarchy they were destined to inherit. Still, Catherine agreed the truth had to come out. Together, they debated a televised statement, a controlled leak, or even a documentary to share Diana's final words. By December 1st, 2023, William made his decision. No lawsuit, no press conference. But he would quietly reclaim every item marked in Diana's letters. The palace would return them to a private vault under his direct supervision. More importantly, he would honor Diana by releasing one of her notes, word for word, in a future public charity speech. A soft move, but a powerful one. He chose justice without burning the monarchy to the ground. But Camilla wasn't about to stay quiet. After weeks of silence, she finally broke. A private letter, a public appearance, and one deeply emotional interview revealed her side of the story. But was it too little? Too late? Camilla's defense. After nearly 7 weeks of media fire, Camilla finally responded. Her first move came through a private letter sent to King Charles and later shared with select members of the royal family in mid-December 2023. The tone was emotional, not defensive. She wrote, "I never meant to dishonor her memory. I carried the weight of that box for too long. Out of fear, not malice." In a rare public appearance on December 20th, Camilla attended a children's charity gala in Manchester. But it wasn't her dress or smile people noticed. It was the absence of any jewelry. For the first time in years, she wore nothing from the royal collection. No brooch, no pendant, not even earrings. It was a silent statement, one that left royal watchers speculating whether she had been asked to give everything back behind the scenes. Then came the interview, aired on January 2nd, 2024, on a private network known for royal exclusives. Camilla sat down with a longtime family friend turned journalist. She spoke carefully, visibly shaken at times. "I didn't steal anything," she said. "I simply believed some of it had no clear owner anymore. I thought I was helping preserve it." She claimed she took the box from Highgrove in 1998 out of concern that it was being neglected in a damp storage room. But her explanation didn't land well. Viewers flooded social media with clips of Diana wearing the same. Jewelry pieces Camilla later claimed had uncertain origins. The sapphire pendant? Diana wore it at Christie's auction in 1997. The brooch? She had it pinned at the 1993 breast cancer gala. Camilla's story didn't hold against years of documented evidence. Her intentions may have been personal, but to the public, they still felt like betrayal. A betrayal of a woman many considered irreplaceable. A jewelry box lost for 26 years. A mother's final warning. And a stepmother's secret. What Prince William found inside shattered him. Stolen heirlooms, altered memories, and proof that Camilla may have taken more than royal titles. The box was locked until now. With Diana's truth exposed and William in tears, the palace will never be the same again. What was stolen wasn't just jewelry. It was justice, hidden in velvet.